Buenos días para todos. Bienvenidos a la sesión informativa que tenemos en la mañana de hoy con University of Southampton en el Reino Unido. Para quienes no conocen esta universidad, les cuento que Colfuturo tiene un convenio que ofrece el 15% de descuento en el valor de la matrícula a todas las personas que sean beneficiarias de Colfuturo. Y en la sesión de hoy nos acompaña Tom, que trabaja en la oficina de reclutamiento de estudiantes internacionales y nos va a apoyar con toda la información de interés y que esperamos sea de utilidad para ustedes. Tom, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. The stage is yours.
Gracias, thank you. And thank you for joining us if you're listening at home and for those listening on recording. My name is Tom Quanti and I'm the Regional Head of International Student Recruitment and Partnerships at the University of Southampton. So what today will involve is a rundown of the introduction to the university and opportunity for you to find out more about the University of Southampton and the funding opportunities through Colfuturo, the opportunities and support that you'll receive as a student at Southampton, a little bit about our city and where we call home, and then there'll be a Q&A session via the Q&A function in the chat. I'll also provide my email address at the end so that you can contact me at a later date if you're watching the recording or if you have any questions that pop up later. So about us, we're the University of Southampton. Where are we based? We're based just over an hour away from the capital city of London. We're down on the south coast of England. We're very, very nearby other major cities as well. We're not too far from Bristol. We're close to Oxford. But as you can see from this image here, we're also really close to the sea and the ocean. So here's a map of the UK and where we are in relation to some of the other places that you may have heard of across the country. Again, we're really, really accessible to the capital, but we've also got our own treasures and our own gems available to us here in Southampton and around us. There is also an airport. Southampton Airport doesn't fly to Colombia, but it does fly to many other European destinations. So you're well connected to the rest of the UK and to the Europe as a continent if you're using your time in the UK to explore some more of Europe. About us, though, we are over 160 years old, established as the Hartley Institute over 160 years ago. So we've got a rich heritage and rich history. One of the top-rated universities in the UK, within the top 20. We're 78 globally. And we've got a real blend and international community, over 10,000 international students from over 130 countries. So as well as studying alongside fellow Colombians, Chileans, Mexican students from Latin America, you'll also be studying with those from North America, those from China, Thailand, Dubai, Europe, right across the entire world. And our international students make up 42% of our entire student body. We're a research-intensive university, and 92% of our research is internationally excellent or established as world-leading. We've done some fantastic research around the engineering and life sciences. We did a lot of work in the COVID-19 trials, and a lot of the research is embedded in our teaching and our learning. We're also a founding member of the Russell Group. So similar to the American Ivy League system, the Russell Group is a grouping of UK universities that share the very, very best research and resources. And across the world, we're part of the World Universities Network. Highfield campus is the heart of the university and where we call home. The majority of courses, about 90% of the courses, are taught at some point at Highfield campus. And it really is what the University of Southampton is. It's our beating heart. But around Southampton and around other cities such as Winchester, we have other campuses that are designed to put students right in the very front and right in the middle of all of their work and all of their the career emphasis on their careers, so that they can sink right in and get those skills and develop those skills for when they leave us. So the Boulderwood Innovation Campus is the home of engineering. Avenue Campus is the home of humanities, which is a lovely old building about a 10-minute walk from Highfield. Winchester School of Art is where our art students study at the Winchester campus. Waterfront campus puts our students right on the waterfront at the National Oceanography Centre, where they study oceanography and earth and life sciences. And the University Hospital Southampton is for our medicine students, who, again, are right in the thick of it, learning and using the facilities and developing the skills in the middle of their chosen career path and industry. Here's a lovely map of seeing the city of Southampton and where we are across it. So as you can see, Highfield Avenue and Boulderwood are really, really close together. There's about a 10-15-minute walk between them. Winchester School of Art is a little bit out in the historic former capital city of England, Winchester. The Oceanography Centre, or NOX, the waterfront campus, is down on the waterfront. The hospital is a little bit out to the east of to the west of the city. But there you can see it's very well connected across Southampton, and students often use the Unilink buses to get around and get between campuses and get to and from the city. You can see that Southampton there just has a beach at the bottom right of the screen, but it also is a major port city as well. You can see some of those ships that are coming in. But around Southampton, there's again loads to do and lots of greenery whilst you call it home during your time in the UK. Having over 300 undergraduate courses and 200 plus postgraduate courses across 65 subject areas, we need to split our university into faculties. Arts and Humanities is based at the Avenue campus and at Winchester campus. What we call the Engineering and Physical Sciences faculty is based at Boulderwood and Highfield campus. FELS, the Faculty of Environment and Life Science, is based at Highfield and at the Waterfront campus. The Faculty of Medicine is based at Highfield and at the University Hospital. The Faculty of Social Science is predominantly based at Highfield. And here you can see how each of the faculty align to the subject areas. So Faculty of Medicine is very nice and easy, but in terms of the subject areas that you will study, that will determine which faculty or which area you will be covered in within the University of Southampton. Our typical entry requirements for students joining us from Colombia tends to be around 6.5 to 8.5. Majority of postgraduate courses will require a 7.5 minimum. So I'd always urge students, particularly if you're going down the Col Futuro scholarship route, to push for that 7.5 and above. Try for an 8.5 as much as possible. Really get the most out of your Col Futuro funding opportunities and additional scholarships from us. We also ask for an English language proficiency. Typically, this is IELTS 7.0 with at least 6.5 in each area: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. Some courses do vary, however, so it's worth checking the course webpage to get the official IELTS or equivalent scoring. In addition to IELTS, we do accept TOEFL, Duolingo, and the Cambridge language alternatives. So how does Col Futuro working? So any students that are domiciled in Colombia can go through, that are studying a PhD or postgraduate course, can apply for the Col Futuro loan. This scholarship program, will cover your fees, your stipend, and any other expenses. So it depends on the reduction that you will get in terms of your course fees. Students need to apply to Col Futuro to access the loan funding, but they also need to separately make an application to whatever university they choose. Obviously, you'll need to apply through the University of Southampton and through Col Futuro as well. In addition to Col Futuro funding, we also have other scholarships available to Latin American students. These are a range of merit and competitive scholarships. Here you can see a screenshot from our scholarships page. You can combine scholarships. So you can combine Col Futuro funding with one of the university's own scholarships. The Faculty of Arts and Humanities, for example, has quite an extensive scholarship offering. So it's worth, if you've got any queries around combined scholarships or adding one of our own scholarship packages to your offer, it's worth getting in touch with us, emailing me, asking any questions when you made the application. Our most generous scholarship is our Presidential International Scholarship, up to 100% discount. So obviously you wouldn't need any additional funding with that. It is, however, incredibly competitive. And as I've mentioned, faculties often offer their own scholarship packages. So have a look for the courses that you're applying for. Maybe it's a course area where we want to see more students from Colombia come and study. That's more likely to encourage us to put a scholarship onto that course. And just another mention there that you can combine a merit or competitive scholarship with government scholarships. You can only apply for one University of Southampton scholarship. So if you apply for the Presidential International Scholarship, and then you get a faculty-based scholarship, you get given the one that's the most discount off of your studies. So away from just what you'll learn and our faculties and how we're structured is opportunities and support. We're have a big focus on careers and employability, and we know that many students are studying their postgraduate program with a view to getting direct employment out of that. We're quite proud that we're in the top 125 of best world institutions for employability, best top 15 in the UK, and actually this final stat, the top 10 in the UK for targeted employers. This means employers are targeting University of Southampton graduates to give jobs and give employment to. Many students do decide to extend their stay in the UK following their study. You can apply for a graduate route visa, which is 2 years after bachelor's or master's, or if you do study a PhD, it is 3 years. And 90% of our Southampton graduates are in meaningful employment or further study at least 15 months after they graduate. It's just a list of some of the UK-based companies that our students work for. Many global brands there, as you can see, Microsoft, IBM, PricewaterhouseCoopers, but also the National Health Service, BAE Systems, Jaguar, Lloyd's Register. So they're just a range of some of the employers we've got really strong connections with. In addition to helping you get employed and helping you get on the career ladder, we do give you extensive career support during your time at Southampton and after you leave us. Now, this can take the form of information, advice, and guidance, which includes e-mentoring, resources, drop-in sessions, one-to-one guidance. There's also events and fairs, job vacancies, or work experience programs available. So all of this range through our Careers Hub, students have access to ensure that they get the very latest advice and the very best advice, but also quality of information throughout their time at the university best prepares them for their career in industry when they leave. Might not be for everybody, but we also do offer study abroad. We've got partners right across the world, and students, mainly postgraduate students, do tend to opt for an option abroad at one of our partner universities. The way the tuition fee would work is that for a full year, which you're unlikely to do as part of a postgraduate, it's 50%. But for the semester abroad, it will be normal tuition fees. And that will cover your time at Southampton, but also your exchange program across the world. So how do we support our students? This is important. This is done through the Student Hub, which is a 24-hour, 7 days a week service via telephone or live chat. They're open every single day of the year, including Christmas Day. So if you've got any issues, concerns, or worries, the Student Hub is your first port of call. The Disability and Inclusion team can arrange appointments, can discuss your own individual needs, if you need additional time or support for exams, but they also host study skills workshops, work with students with specific learning differences, and can assist them in best preparing for their studies and for their exams. In addition to that care, we've also got the wellbeing team, which is to ensure that all of our students are looking after their wellbeing and keeping, looking after themselves and making sure that they're okay. So they run sessions on exam anxiety through groups or workshops. There's 24-hour support, but there's also vast amounts of access to specialist mental health practitioners and the university's counselling service. So you're in safe hands. We don't envision all students requiring that, but the main thing is that when you get into the UK, when you land in Southampton and you're set up with your studies, you are well supported. The university also has its own doctor's surgery and has its own hairdressers and has its own pharmacy. So all of that is ready from when you arrive. Majority of postgraduate students or first-year students will stay at university residences. We've got a range of residences, some that are close to the university, some that are close to the city centre, or some that are sort of a little bit out of both of them, but close to the marina or other areas of Southampton. They're all single dorms. We have a mixture of meal plans through park-catered and self-catered halls available. We have a mixture of ensuite or shared bathroom. They all come with round-the-clock security and an unlimited bus pass, so you don't need to pay for your bus to get around the city. All students that firm their offer with the University of Southampton, so I'll get through the application process in just a bit, but when they firm your offer, you've applied, as a postgraduate student, you confirm that you're going to be joining us, you're guaranteed accommodation if you do that by the 1st of July next year. So again, it's a really good opportunity to get an application in and then firm up your decision when you know where you want to go. Another way of looking at the university halls of residences. So Archers Road is one of our campus, is sort of one of our halls of resident campuses that is near the city centre. Glen Eyre, Chancellor's Court and Chamberlain are on Highfield campus, right at the back of Highfield campus. Mayflower Hall is right by the train station in the middle of the city. Montefiore Wessex Lane is a little bit further out, not too far from our Avenue campus. And Erasmus Park is our Winchester-based accommodation for students at Winchester School of Art. Upon your arrival to the UK, we also offer an airport pickup meet and greet service. So when you do book, when you know everything's happening, you've applied, you've decided to join us, and you want information about how to get to Southampton from Heathrow or Gatwick airports, or even Southampton, if you come in that way, we can arrange a meet and greet service or for students to come and to put you onto a bus and take you to your accommodation or the campus. So I always start these things actually by saying that when you're looking at a university, you should be looking at the 3 C's. The first one is the course. So not only what you want to study, but how does each university deliver that? How does each university teach that? And what modules interest you? The second one is the culture campus. So what is our culture about? What is our campus about? What are there things to do outside your studies? And the final one is city. So I want to tell you a little bit more about our city of Southampton. So this is Highfield campus. I've mentioned it's the heart and home of the university. It's set at the top of Southampton in its northern quarter. That building there is our Hartley Library, which is one of our founding buildings and is home to the university's library. It's the oldest building on Highfield Estate. But you can see from where the photo is taken and from the rest of Highfield, it's surrounded by real modern architecture. It's also one of the greenest campuses in the UK. So there's always a nice place to go grab some lunch outside when the weather's good, or spend some time going for a run or being with friends in the summer. We've got a load of sports facilities around. So we like our students to not only keep, mentally active, but physically active. And you'll have access to the Jubilee Sports Centre as a student. We're based on the waterfront. Southampton is a waterfront city, so there are lots and lots of water sports going on. We've also got our own 6-lane, 25-metre swimming pool, 8.5 million sports complex, the Jubilee Sports Centre, and the use of over 170 fitness stations. So there's lots you can be doing to keep active. The Jubilee Sports Centre is already rather large, but it's undergoing further refurbishment. It's staying open throughout that, but it's planned to be finished and completed by June 2024, just in time for when you'll be joining us, which is us demonstrating another £30 million of investment to keep our sports centre state of the art. In addition to your studies, and in addition to keeping active at university, there's also a range of clubs and societies that is put together by SUSU, the Southampton University Students' Union. So there's lots of different societies. You can see ones that are fairly normal there, or normal sounding at least: the Art Society, the Mind Society, yoga, rowing, lacrosse, cheerleading. And then there's also some really interesting ones as well. So the Aikido, Dodgeball, Quidditch Club, the Hydro Team, the Irish Dancing. These are just a selection of societies and clubs that we offer. I always say you'll find one that fits you or fits your friends, and that's something you can do a little bit more outside of your studies to keep engaged as part of our Southampton community. Societies that are very popular for Latin American students are there's MEXSOC, which was originally started as a Mexican society, but is actually expanding and growing to include all students from Central and South America. But there's also SLAPS, which is the Spanish, Latin American and Portuguese Society. So these will do fundraisers, themed events. They'll do socials, both online or offline. They'll organize fiestas, and they also do an annual trip that might be over to Paris or to a different city in the UK. So you're with a like-minded community, and there's lots to get involved in as well. So you can use that QR code there, or use the Instagram at Sotton Slaps to see what they're up to in the last few weeks. In terms of our city, where we call home is the city of Southampton. It is a mixture of medieval and modern. It's one of the largest port cities in Europe, so it's modernized a lot and updated a lot, and it gets a lot of government funding and gentrification, but it's also really maintained its medieval roots. So it used to be a walled city, so there's still the city walls that are around the city of Southampton, and the pebble streets and the old Tudor house. So it's got some authentic British history within its modern architecture as well. There's loads to do. It is a vibrant city. It's got a population of around 250,000 people. So there's lots going on, whether it's to drink at a bar or one of our English pubs or in a cafe, or going down to the cultural quarter to watch something on at the theatre. We've also got our own football or soccer team, the Saints, Southampton FC. But we've also got loads of other entertainment. The bottom picture there that you saw in the last picture with the ice rink it's a massive entertainment hub which houses a cinema and over 30 different restaurants. Just behind that is our shopping mall. That beautiful picture there at the bottom is the sun rising over the marina. That's Southampton Marina. There are halls that we have down there as well. And that last picture of the students having a barbecue is based on Southampton Common, which is just across from Highfield campus. As I've mentioned it, we're on the water and we are home to one of the largest water sports activity centres in the UK. It was built and Southampton helped co-host the water sports at London 2012. So it's a brand new facility, only 10 years old, and it's constantly updated, and it puts you in the heart of all of the water sports. We're a small island in the UK, so there's lots of water sports opportunities available. In addition to Southampton, there's also a lot around the city that you can do. I've purposely not included a slide on London here, and I've done that because I think people know London very well and you can access it by just over an hour. These are all things that are much closer than London that you can do. You can see the picture there with the horse is the New Forest National Park. It recently got rated one of Europe's best national parks. It's a jewel in the crown. It's really, really beautiful, and it's always lovely to go exploring, hiking, walking, running, or stop for a bite to eat in the New Forest. The other top picture is Bournemouth, which is about half an hour away by train and features one of the longest UK's uninterrupted sandy beaches, about 8 miles of sandy beach. The bottom picture there is Winchester. So you can see its cobbled streets and its old shop fronts. It's quintessentially British. It's as British as you want to get. It's former capital city, home of the Round Table, but also home of Winchester School of Art. And the last photo there at the bottom is the Isle of Wight, which many students jump on a boat and take a boat tour around the island, or go exploring its beaches, or go for walks. It's all accessible, and there's loads to do to make sure that you enjoy your time or your year with us in Southampton. So that was a very whistle-stop tour of the city, and hopefully it informed you of what we're about and what's available to you. I guess the main thing to do is that you start an application when you know what course you want to study. There is a small application fee of £50, which is used to process postgraduate applications. They are applied directly through the university's website. Once you've started your application, you're then ready to get going. Make sure you've got that English language proficiency, and make sure that you've got those entry requirements. Once you get that, you can then firm your choice and to tell us or let us know that you're definitely going to be joining us in September. Hopefully that was informative. Southampton's a really lovely place to live, to work, and to study, and the university is really well placed to give you the best opportunities in your future. So we hope you've enjoyed the session, and I very much look forward to seeing you very, very shortly. I am going to share my email address on the chat, so for anybody who wants to email me at a later date, please feel free to, and I will take any questions in the Q&A. Thank you very much. Gracias.
Thank you, Tom. It was very illustrative. So I invite the participants to send us the questions through the chat. It seems that we already have one question. So it's just that you shared your email. So I have a question for you, because you mentioned that we have our agreement, and the students know that for Colfuturo, one of the most important criterions is the program that they are going to study. So I would like to ask you, which of the schools and the faculty are the best, well-ranked in their international rankings mainly?
Of course. Always an interesting question when I'm asked which ones are we famous for or which will have the highest ranking. There is this thing about ranking with universities, and whilst it is important to bear in mind, it's always worth looking at the subject-specific rankings because universities have different strengths in different areas. Our main outputs are the engineering and computer sciences, but also the life sciences. So we're specialists in the field of oceanography, the life sciences in general, so medicine, healthcare, biology, those types of sciences. But we're also in physical sciences, so in computing, engineering, maritime engineering, manufacturing. That's really where we're probably most established for. So it's combining where we're based. So in the waterfront city of Southampton, obviously, we're going to have lots of marine studies and marine life, but also indeed with our own specialist innovation campuses, engineering and computer science continues to grow. However, that being in mind, it's always worth looking, if you're not thinking of those courses, have a look at the different types of universities in the UK and see which ones are a best fit for you, but also see if the campus or the feel of the city fits what you want for a university experience as well.
Thank you. Students are shy. They are not asking anything yet. So I will make a couple of questions that I know that usually are helpful for the students. And if they don't send us any question, we will close the session. So my next question is regarding timing. How much time do you recommend to students to prepare, select the information, send the applications to the university, like the window they need to consider when they are going to study a master or a PhD abroad?
Yeah, I think it's always worth doing it and giving yourself as much time as possible. If you are thinking of joining in 2024, you should now be looking. You should be spending the time going through different universities and having a look at their module lists. All of our course module lists are up on our website. Then you can start delving into actually what does that course involve? What modules, what subject areas do I enjoy? I always sort of say to students with a postgraduate course, get something in ideally before the end of the year. Last year, we closed our postgraduate courses really early. They were all shut by the end of March. This year, we're taking a more tiered approach so that we hopefully won't be as full as quick. But don't wait and then lose your opportunity to study the course you really want to do. So be proactive about it. Set yourself a timeline to decide on maybe a couple of options that you want to do and get that done before Christmas, before December. And then you're in the best position. You can then work on getting your grades. Then you can look at doing your accommodation, because then your timeline is much more stretched. You'll apply, you'll look at accommodation, you'll start applying for your visa, and it will become much more manageable. Whereas if you condense it and you apply very late, you risk courses being closed, but also you've given yourself an awful lot to do in a very short space of time.
Great. Eliana is sending us a question and she wrote, I am not sure if you mentioned it, but scholarships are for both masters and PhDs. If this applies for master's degrees, could you please tell us more detail about it?
Of course, yeah. So all of our the information, Eliana, is on our scholarships page of our website. So if you Google or whatever, Yahoo, University of Southampton scholarships, you'll see our range of merit and competitive scholarships available. They're available for all levels. They're available for PhD, they're available for masters, or they're available for undergraduate even. There's a whole range of different international scholarships available for you. It's really, really difficult to give a sort of an entry criteria for them because, again, they differ by faculty, by course, and by nationality. But the way our scholarships work is you can, once you've set your, you have to apply first. And once you've set your application in, you can then start applying for scholarships. Our internal scholarships start opening around March. And it's and that'll be quite common for UK universities. So if you are looking to get qualificatore funding and you are looking to get a place, don't wait until the scholarships open. Get that application started with qualificatore and with the University of Southampton sooner than later. But if you've got the specific questions in mind there, Eliana, or anything's unsure, drop me an email and I'll be happy to bring this up with you further.
And related to scholarships, I would like to ask you for a couple of recommendations to any student who is going to apply for a scholarship.
In terms of my recommendations for students applying for a scholarship, I make yourself stand out. So lots of students will be applying for scholarships and lots of students will be applying for the courses. But what we want to see, or what the scholarships team need you to demonstrate, is what makes you a unique student. So it can be your grades. They are based on gradings, particularly the merit ones. So the higher grades you've got, the best chance you've got of getting a scholarship. But in terms of the competitive scholarships, on your scholarship application, we want to see sort of what difference it's going to make, not just to you, but to your studies, and what difference you studying that subject at Southampton, and why. Why do you want to do it here? And why do you feel you deserve or should earn this scholarship opportunity? If you can make yourself stand out, if you put yourself apart from some of the rest, that, in addition to higher grades, really, really gives you the best possible opportunity to access that funding.
Great. And my last question is regarding the language proficiency. One of the challenges that the students face when they are going to study abroad is their English skills. What would you recommend the students to prepare and to train before going to the United Kingdom?
Yeah, good question. It's the best thing you could do. Students are often best at one element of an IELTS test. So you might watch a lot of American or British films, and you might be really good at listening, or you might be really good at reading because you read a lot of books, or vice versa. But it's very rarely students, there's always one of the elements is speaking, listening, reading, and writing that lets students down. So I would say, try and develop those skills in English in those each areas. There might be one that comes easier to you. As I said, if you read a lot in English, or if you watch a lot of English TV, then certain elements are different. But writing, try and write, get your written communication back up. And that can be as easy as reading a book and just rewriting the book. Try maybe do a Duolingo course and try to regularly maintain a streak of developing that language skill. The biggest advice with speaking a language is to use it. I became quite proficient at Spanish when I was traveling around Latin America, but I lost it because I didn't use it as much. So try and engage in conversations with friends in English, or contact the universities and try and engage by email. Even if you've only got a slight question, it looks good that you're able to communicate in English as well. But do bear in mind that an IELTS test comprises 4 elements, and you need to be comfortable with each of them. So start watching British programs to develop your listening to audiobooks, reading those audiobooks as well. That's a good mixture to do, is have a book and also listen to it as an audiobook, because you're picking up both reading and listening skills. But also don't be shy when it comes to speaking. Put yourself out there and develop those and enhance those skills as much as possible, because you don't want your English language ability to be the thing that prevents you from studying abroad.
Thank you, Tom. And the last question is regarding Southampton, like the last sentence to get the students engaged, to contact you and to learn more about the university, please.
Yeah, of course. So Southampton's a wonderful city. It's a bit of it's a charming place. It's a lovely sized city that's not as vast and expensive as London, but you've still got London on your doorstep. As I've demonstrated, there's loads to do around the city. That means that as well as getting a worthwhile education, and as well as studying at a really reputable Russell Group University, you're also studying in a wonderful city with access to the water, access to wildlife, beaches, rural and urban landscape. So there's loads to do in the city. Genuinely, it's a brilliant place to be. It's one of the safest cities in the UK, one of the most affordable cities in the UK, and you're really well positioned for the weather as well. So it's got a nickname of Sunny Southampton, and it generally, out of most of the UK, gets some of the better weather. But ultimately, it's got to be somewhere you feel confident, you feel happy with. And I know that you would belong in Southampton. I know that it's a brilliant place and there's loads for you to do in your studies and outside of it. But you've got to give something that, when you've had a look at the website, when you've looked at the courses, that gets you in the heart and you think, I can see myself there. And that's genuinely the same for anywhere. But I'd love to be able to make that Southampton and show you around.
Thank you, Tom. And thank you so much for joining us today and provide this useful information. And gracias a todos ustedes por participar. Esperamos que la información haya sido de su utilidad y que contacten a Tom después de esta sesión. Feliz día para todos.